Hello all, if you are new, my name is Marin. Welcome to another reading vlog. Today is actually Tuesday, so I'm getting a little bit of a late start with this vlog, but yesterday was President's Day. I did not have work. I was working on finishing the book that I left unfinished in last week's vlog, which I will link up in the cards. So I did finish listening to the audio of The Quiet Damage. This is by Jesslyn Cook. I talked about this in my last vlog, as I mentioned, but basically this is QAnon and the destruction of the American family. It's following 5 different families from across the US, and it is detailing the descent into the rabbit hole of QAnon by some of their family members, and kind of what other family members were doing to try to pull them out of the muck, if you will. I finished this yesterday, as I mentioned. I really found this very interesting. It is written in a very engaging, easy to read format. The author narrates the audiobook, so I would recommend the audio. I thought that was very well done as well. And this was just a very interesting look at QAnon, kind of what kind of gets people kind of pulled in at the start and what makes it so easy for them to continue to slide deeper into the depths of the more over-the-top conspiracy theories. For me personally, obviously, I do not understand, I can't fathom falling for this stuff, but it was very interesting to read. I really liked how she humanized the family members and basically gave some tips and tricks and things to maybe try at the end and the afterward as well. I just thought it was really well written. So if you are curious at all about it, I would recommend this book. I'm giving it 5 stars. I just wanted to go ahead and finish that off before we get into anything else in this vlog. So my goal for the remainder of this vlog is going to be to finish my February TBR. So I have 3 books left on my TBR, on the official TBR, I should say, because there's still some other books that I want to read, but I have 3 books left on the official TBR based on my Bookopoly game. I'll link that up in the cards if you want to go back and watch. But let's chat about those. So today I started listening to Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. This is the February pick for the Literally Dead book club. This is on my February TBR. And this will be the first Grady Hendrix book that I have ever read, so I'm curious. I know that this one has some body horror elements, which can really be hit or miss for me, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not very far into it. I was listening to a little bit of it this morning. I'm at like 8%, so I'm only like 4 or 5 chapters into it. So that will be my audiobook for the foreseeable future. I also will be starting to read The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This is a cozy fantasy romance-ish type thing. It's about a girl. I'm not positive how to say her name. I'm saying it as Keela. It's K-I-E-L-A. But anyway, she is a librarian and her city is attacked by revolutionaries, forcing Keela and her sentient spider plant friend Kaz to leave the library with as many books as they can save. She heads out and decides to lay low at her former family home on an island pretty far away from the city. Her and her parents had moved to the city when she was young. Her parents have since passed away, so she knows that they never sold the house, so she is assuming that that will be a safe place for her to lay low and figure things out. Her first day there, she meets a guy who sees like her boat and comes to check, and I can't remember what his name is, but she's only met him once, but I'm assuming that's going to be the romantic element of this book. But I have been wanting to read this since I got it in the mail last year and just never had a chance. So I'm glad this is on the February TBR because I will hopefully enjoy it and be able to cross it off. So I will be starting that, and then hopefully there will be time for me to also read Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. This is the final book from my February TBR that I need to read. I feel like this one should be pretty quick. It is a romance and it's got pretty good sized font, margins, etc. So I'm hoping that I can get through this one as well in this vlog, but we will just play it by ear and see how it goes. So that is what you are gonna see in this vlog. hopefully. Today is Tuesday and we have snow day because it snowed overnight. We got like a few inches. It really messed up the roads. So we are out of school today. We are supposed to get more snow like throughout the course of the day. So who knows what tomorrow's going to hold. If you watched last week's vlog, you'll know that we have not had students since Monday of last week. So it has been a wild couple of weeks where we are right here, but you know, whatever. So I am hoping to get at least to page 100 of the spell shop today, and I will come back and chat with you and give you some initial thoughts. Other than that, I have been watching Dark Shadows, which was a soap opera that ran from like the late 60s to early 70s. There are like 1,200 episodes. I have attempted to watch the show several times. It is on Amazon Prime. When I was in high school, it was actually on the Sci-Fi Channel for a while, but I decided to start at the very beginning and have been watching a few episodes like each day. So hopefully I will actually finish that off this year, but you will probably see the little title card in several vlogs because it's gonna take me a while, but I have been enjoying that. I think I'm on episode 51 or something like that. So if you're unfamiliar, it follows a family, the Collins family, who live in a very old house on top of a hill. They hire a young girl from New York to come be the governess for David, who is the matriarch's nephew. And Collinwood is haunted by ghosts and other supernatural things, and that's your setup. So that's the show. I'm looking forward to really finishing that show off. As I said, I've watched bits and pieces of it, but never from start to finish. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so you will probably see that a little bit in this vlog. You will probably see some Sims 4 because I have been playing more of The Sims. I am also still doing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete. So yeah, that is what I'm doing when I'm not reading and when I'm not working. So again, today's Tuesday. It's a snow day, not an AMI day, an actual snow day. So we'll see what I can get up to, and I will bring you along this week, hopefully, while I finish these plus Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. So I will see you with a reading update when I have one. Hello all, reading update time. I have actually finished reading Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. This is the first book by Grady Hendrix that I have read. I believe I mentioned that earlier. So I really was not sure what to expect because I have heard that he can be very polarizing. Some people love him, some people really do not like his writing at all. And I wasn't really sure where I was gonna fall. I do have a couple other books by him that have been on like my want to read list for a while. So I am happy to report that I did quite enjoy this book. I did not do any updates as I was going through because, to be honest, for a good chunk of it, I wasn't really sure where I was gonna land. I wasn't disliking it, but I wasn't necessarily really enjoying it, and I still don't think enjoying is the right word. So first off, let's kind of talk a little bit about this. We are following a girl who goes by the name Fern. She is 15 years old. She is pregnant, and her family sends her away to a home to have the baby, give the baby up, and then return to her normal life. And that's kind of the setup. She meets some other girls there, and they do a little bit of dabbling in witchcraft thanks to a spell book that they are given. I would not call this a witchy book by any means. If you are going into it expecting a lot of witchcraft, witches, etc., you're not going to get that here. This is very much a historical fiction look at reproductive rights in the US and how in the 70s, which is when this book is set, being pregnant out of wedlock was considered like a shameful, horrible thing. And to some extent it still is, let's be real. And abortion was not something that a lot of people gravitated towards because it was not legal at that point. And these girls were kind of shunted into these houses. And I think this book was really more about those girls kind of figuring themselves out a little bit as they are basically told what to do from morning till night. They are forced to follow rules and things that are kind of put in place to dehumanize them and to make them feel ashamed of themselves. And there's definitely some commentary on where the US is right now in the current day with reproductive rights and how we are very much going backwards. So it was just a very interesting look. I thought it was very well written. I really enjoyed the characters. It's more of like a character study type thing rather than a true horror book, but there are horror elements. So if you are very sensitive to pregnancy and the changes that pregnancy can wreak on your body, and also the actual act of childbirth, I would avoid, because there's definitely some pretty graphic scenes around that. So I was not bothered by anything. There is very little that really bothers me in books, so I was fine with it, and ultimately I'm giving it 4 stars. I really did think this was very well written, and while I wouldn't say I had a good time with it, I felt like it was a worthwhile read. So 4 stars, I'm happy about that. I do want to read, what is it, the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires or whatever, which is also by Grady Hendrix. So that gives me a little bit more excitement going into that one. I've heard pretty good things about that one, but I do know that his writing is very hit or miss. So happily, he was a hit for me this go round. So that's kind of my update on that. I apologize for not coming back and really talking to you, but as I said, I really was not sure what exactly I thought until I got to probably the 70% mark, we'll say. Now, the witchcraft type stuff does not even come into play until like the first quarter of the book is done. So like the 25% mark. So again, this is not a witchy book. Don't go into it thinking it's a witchy book because you're going to be disappointed. But I am very glad that I gave it a read. So there you go. That's my update. I will come back and chat with you more about the spell shop. I am making good progress in that one as well. I have a little over 100 pages left. So I will come back and chat with you with an update on that one once I have finished it. But it is going well so far. Hello all, time for a reading update, and to close out this vlog, I have finished reading The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. Much like Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, I did not do a good job of updating you. I kind of just went through the last part of this all in one sitting because I wanted to go ahead and get this finished and get this vlog edited. So I am giving this 4 stars. I quite enjoyed this. So this is very much cozy fantasy. It was classed on Goodreads as romantasy. So I went in thinking that there would be some smut because something about romantasy means smut in my head, and based on like what I've heard from others, but there is no smut in this. So if you want like a very G-rated, cute fantasy, romantasy, this is a good one. I very much enjoyed the found family aspects as Keela settles into her island town, her island home rather, and gets to know all of the different people who live there. And I really enjoyed how the town like came together to protect their own. So that was an element that I really liked. I liked the romance between her and Lauren, who I thought was a very sweet, humble guy and a very cute romance. So it was very satisfying. I was very pleased with how the story went. I liked the elements that were introduced towards the end to kind of, you know, give the story a bit of a climax and to have like a set ending. And yeah, this was a nice foray into cozy fantasy. I can't really think of a whole lot that I have read that would fall under that label. This one definitely does, and I had a good time with it. So 4 stars. If it sounds like something you think you would enjoy, go ahead and give it a read. I know not everyone has loved it, but I do wonder if that's because they saw the romantasy label and were expecting more. This, again, is cozy fantasy. That's what it is. It had a nice romance in there, but it is very G-rated, very sweet, and I had a good time. So I very much enjoyed this one. 4 stars, as I mentioned. She has another one that's coming out later this year that I have pre-ordered. I will put the cover right here because I can't remember what it's called. Something about a greenhouse, maybe? But anyway, you're looking at the cover. So I have pre-ordered that one. I put that pre-order in last year, and hopefully I will like it as much as I did this one, or even more. So yeah, that is going to conclude this vlog. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me, even though I did not do a very good job of updating you throughout my reading. I apologize. I will try to do better in the next one. The next video that you see from me will be my March TBR. Right now, I am almost halfway through Done and Dusted, which is the final book from my February TBR, and it will be done by the end of the month, so we can check that off and call this another successful reading month. I am also hoping to at least start and get a good portion of the way through my February buzzword pick, because I have not started that yet. But anyway, that's not going to be in this vlog. I am thinking that the first vlog of March will be kind of a catch-up, though, of the buzzword, the buzz cover stuff, and the March buzzword prompt, which is thing in the title. So I am hoping to kind of get caught up with that, and I am wanting to vlog that, so you can stay tuned for that. That will probably be the next vlog you see. But anyway, if you made it to the end of this vlog and would like to show me that you made it to the end, you can leave a cat emoji in the comments, because this island has winged cats, which sound adorable and honestly don't play enough of a part, in my opinion. I would have loved to see more of the winged cats, but you can leave me a cat emoji. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me. I am hoping that videos will be much more frequent in March. We will cross our fingers, and I will see you in my next one, which will be my March TBR. Bye, everyone.